This is the origin story of the phrase pace of love. This phrase was born in the council I held with Reverend Brianna Lynn beginning in 2023. Although my work with the pace of love predated that time, it was then that we first channeled the phrase. Reverend Brianna herself has worked with what she calls the authentic pace in her Liberation Mystery School. There she teaches that to honor the body, we need to return to our individual authentic pace. Individual as in unique to you, and authentic as in the true pace that is in harmony with your body and heart. As a result, it means something different for everyone. For me, there's an added layer beyond authenticity that is required. I had to not only learn and experience my authentic pace, but I also realized the necessity of holding love and compassion for myself as I walked a slower life. I found that this required a radical change from the patriarchy rat race, as Reverend Brianna calls it. I see this rat race as multi-layered, multi-influenced modern hustle culture that we all live in. It is hyperactive, hyper-focused, multitasking, and over-caffeinated. These types of days are filled with unending task lists, and we are driven to produce more in a single day than we have ever done. We are driven to this insane pace out of performance pressures so that we may earn our keep in society. Honestly, I did not start this path because I found fault with the modern pace. I was too wrapped up in the shiny rewards of material trappings to notice its negatives. It took the wise teacher of my body to put a stop to my ways. I think many of you may also have begun to hear the whispers of your wise body teacher too. Maybe you also know in your bones that there is something wrong with this accelerated pace of life. So I became a rebel, stepping out of the fast pace of society. I began to tune in to what my body needed. Not only did I struggle to tune in to these messages of wisdom, but I also found the rebel robe a heavy and uncomfortable one. I recognized the difficulty of being a rebel, of acting differently, of honoring what my body was asking for. And in the beginning, this was requiring deep rest. I was unable to work at all, to provide for myself at all, or even have a social life. But there was a pressure in the beginning, a feeling of shame that I was not being a productive member of society. I was not producing, I was lazy. And that was something I had told myself for years while I ignored the signs of my body until it completely collapsed. To make this shift from ignoring my body to including my body required me to love myself more than I loved being included in modern society. More than I loved looking like everyone else. In fact, I definitely had to look like no one else I knew. I had to live a life that I couldn't explain. I didn't have a great story about taking time to find myself or leaving off on an adventure. No, I simply needed to slow down, to rest, to go inward. Now I realize I have been on the heroine's journey as described by Maureen Murdoch. I was standing at the door of initiation and descent, a phase where turning away and inward is required. I turned away from all the patterns and stories that kept a human doing as opposed to a human being. This too required compassion and love. Love for my body, love for myself, giving me courage to be different. Compassion was required for the times I would falter, or as I like to call it, weeble wobble. The times when I would be overtaken by the desire to be included, overtaken by my fears of not being able to provide for myself. In these wobbles, with gentle eyes, I could see old patterns where I would deny myself, deny my body, just to fit in. I found compassion for the part of me that still wanted the life that was no longer accessible. When I finally made peace with that loss, I had to grieve the life I could not live, the life that I saw so many others easily acquiring and enjoying. I had to love myself enough to muster up the courage that my path was different. This path could lead me to something even greater. I have found peace and joy inside this chaos and uncertainty, an invaluable skill in this time of polycrisis. And perhaps by shining my example to those around me, some may learn how to connect in community where people are still valuable just for being. Perhaps that's why I'm driven to share and create this space of exploration. Following a pace of love is challenging, especially when doing it alone. I want you to know, as someone who's walked before you, but is still learning with you, you don't have to walk alone. Others are walking this path right now and finding the rewards of healing, embodiment, and renewed contact with the deepest parts of themselves. The modern life of hustle will never provide this depth of connection because there's just no time. My prayer, my hope is that you make time for yourself. You carve out a holy place in your life, in your heart, and your mind to meet yourself at the pace of love. Heed the call of your wise body teacher. Listen deep down in your nervous system and see where you have gone astray from your connection to the natural world, to the natural pace of your body. See where you are stretched beyond your capabilities and near breaking. I call you to action in whatever way feels right to you. It could be just one step on the path to a pace of love. I pray that it may be as easy as just 3 moments of every day to connect with your breath in resonance and to meet together in our breath lab sessions. If you haven't already, I invite you to begin, in devotion, to walk back to yourself. I'm sending you so much love from my heart. Until the next time we breathe together.